That was a good one. Okay. The next question is, how do you describe yourself?
Oh, I'm a genius. That's easy. Oh, wait. Yellow.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Pretty good,
Damien.
man. Excellent.
That's
Best day ever.
that's so cool. That I'm good. What are you talking about?
Today, we're just chilling. Since yesterday, we started to do a series of debates, but I just let the participants pick the topic. So yeah, probably we're gonna do that today as well. So, is there anything that you want to talk about, or do you have any question for me?
Yeah, I got some question. In order to help me in my excuse me. Sorry, in my interview. In my interview.
Good.
So,
Let's do that.
how can I answer this question? Um, how can you handle an angry customer?
Very good. You don't. No, wait. Let me elaborate on that a little bit. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm going to imagine that you're the interviewer and I'm the interviewee, and I'm just going to give you my raw answer.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. So the question is, how would I deal with an angry customer? My answer is the
Yeah.
following. Well, first of all, I would never take things personal. I would place myself in a position of understanding. Like, I would be very empathetic with the customer, as I would try my best to understand what he or she's going through, and I would just remain calm for the duration of the call. My purpose would be to solve their issue as swiftly and as quickly as possible, and I would be very proud to do that.
Right. That's good.
Sounds like that. I don't know.
That was a good one. Okay. The next question is, how do you describe yourself?
Oh, I'm a genius. That's easy. Oh, wait. No, look. A similar question came up last night, and yesterday I explained that there's something called a discourse. A discourse, in a broad sense, is all of the ideas, all the qualities, and all the characteristics that you think you have, and you have them very present at any time in your head. So the idea behind that, or the idea behind developing a discourse, is that you will be ready to face any questions regarding who you are very quickly, even if they come from an interviewer. So that's something that I wanted to say. But to answer the question, I would go. Oh, by the way, I said yesterday that every time, if you ask me that question 3 times in a row, I will give you 3 different answers. And if you keep asking the same question, I will give you more qualities. That's the beauty of a discourse. See? But to answer the question in a professional manner, I would say, oh, I'm a very curious person. I take pride in not knowing all the answers, but always being willing to find solutions to problems. And I consider myself someone who is capable of working very well as a part of a team or individually as well. So, in conclusion, I think I am just the right candidate for the job.
Okay.
Something like that. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I don't wanna answer that question like normal, like a
Oh, yeah,
normal
it's the
answer.
average. Right.
Uh, I
Stand out.
wanna yeah,
You want to stand out.
yeah, I wanna stand out in order to sounds like more professional.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Okay. The last question, yeah, that is dun, dun, dun. Hold on. Let me search. What are those skills that you can say you learned, or what type of experience do you have?
Okay. I have management, I have sales, I have marketing, a little bit of negotiation, and I like challenges. I never shy away from a challenge. I'm also
Mm.
very persuasive, and I think I can convince anyone to do anything for me.
Okay. So, the the last thing that I want to tell you is what do you recommend me in order to pass the interview job?
Okay. Well, first of all, let's fix the question. It's not recommend me. Is what do you recommend me to do to
Oh,
pass the
okay.
interview?
Recommend me. Oh my god.
Recommend me to do.
Okay, recommend me to do.
Right.
Okay.
I worked as a recruiter for a couple of years, and I know how these guys think. I know what they're looking for. They're not looking for someone who can just give generic answers, just like you said. They're looking for someone. Well, depends. It depends on the job, but specifically for sales, which is the kind of recruiting that I did. Specifically for that skill, what they really want is somebody who can improvise in a very calm manner. See, someone who can always keep everything under control. And one of the best things to display that is to take control of the conversation itself with the recruiter, with the interviewer. And the way you do that is by asking key questions. Instead of replying to their questions, you're going to do your best to turn the tables on them, if that's even an expression, and just give them back an unexpected question so that they're forced to talk more than you. And when you do that, you basically shift the balance of power, because the person who makes the questions, or the person who asks the questions, is typically the one with the upper hand. So the one who wins typically.
Okay.
And that's what I would do. I would always uh, finish my intervention or my answer with a question. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you ask me like, "Hey, why do you think you're qualified for this job?" Well, I think I'm qualified for this job because I have more than enough experience doing exactly what you need. But beyond that, I would like to know, why is the job open? Like, what was the reason why the previous person doing this job quit?
Okay.
That is an unexpected question that they, it's like a curveball that you throw at them. They don't expect it. See, and they have to go off the script.
All right.
And I think that that's a technique that works. Funny enough, I actually hate doing interviews. I think I'm
So, man,
yeah. If
appreciate
I
you for everything.
Sure, anytime, anytime. Any other question or comment?
um, no. That's all. That's what I
Mm.
wanted. So I hope you are doing great. So thank you, man.
All right, pretty
Take
good,
care.
man. You too.
Take
Hope you
care.
have a great night.
Okay. Have a great night.
Thank you. And enjoy the rest of the live. I'm gonna take this off just for a minute. We'll go with the next guest just in a minute. Okay, so let me read some comments. Let's see. Alejandro Garcia says, "Man, man, not men, but man, man. I want to talk like you." Oh, okay. Thank you. You're welcome, Engel. Thank you, Maida, for all of those gifts. For those 20 roses, I highly appreciate them. Thank you. DBDB Bibaldi says, "Saludos desde Chile." Wait, no, let me read your username properly. What is it? DRB Vivaldi. Okay, nice. Greetings from Colombia. Jordan AP. This is the comment I read before jumping in with the previous guest. He says, "Do a fight." You know what? You know what? I don't know how to do that. Wait, I know that people always do like battles on TikTok. I've never done one. If anybody knows how to do it from the PC version of TikTok, do let me know. Maybe I think we would win, right? Nikas Jimenez says, "Where are you from?" I'm from Barranquilla, Colombia. Ibrahim says, "Hello, I want to practice." Good. Well, there's a queue. There's a line already. So we're gonna go with. Wait, I have the order here. It was Engel. Now we're gonna go with teacher Jose Antonio, then Bendels, and then JJ. Quick note: if you want to participate with me, you have to tap the multi guest button. You must make battles. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we'll do one tonight. Yeah. Sure. Why not? Okay. So we have teacher Jose Antonio, Bendels, JJ, and then wait. I don't want to butcher your name. Is it Jean Charles or Jean Charles James Lee? Okay. I'll just write it down like that. Jean Charles James Lee. All right. Let's go with teacher Jose Antonio. Yellow.
Yellow. Hello, dude. This is Joseph over here. Well, I say Joseph because that's the way that my students call me. Yes, I'm Jose Antonio. What's your name again?
Damien.
All right, nice. Once again, what you guys talking about? Like making questions. I've been watching that like for a while, but see that you guys making questions, but questions about what?
Well, there's really no theme. For the last two nights, I've been just letting people just come and talk to me and ask me whatever they want. The idea is for them to practice their English, regardless of the topic. Like the topic is the least important thing. Since you're a teacher, why don't we just talk about something that you care about, like something that is very dear to you?
Yeah. That's exactly what I have in mind. I wonder if you're an English language teacher as well.
I'm not.
You're not?
Nope. Not a teacher.
Um, and what do you do then? Are you do podcast or
I'm
this
a
type of live in English?
good. I'm a copywriter. That's what I do for a living. I'm a copywriter, and I
All
also
right.
run a small business
All right, nice. And then this podcast is what is it about
just
exactly?
for fun. Just for fun.
All,
Well,
all right, nice.
if I'm being honest, it's just for fun. But at the same time, I also promote a book, and I every time I want to be very transparent with that. As a copywriter, what I do for a living is write, and I like writing. And I wrote a book about English learning strategies. So, I mean, it is available there, but the main purpose of the podcast is for me to have fun. That's it.
I think that at the same time, it's kind of teaching for people. I mean, for your audience, so that they have like the chance to interact with you and also like listening to you. That your English is like really nice. You have really good pronunciation. Well, I was gonna then. I thought at the very beginning that you were a teacher, and I prepared like a question. I was gonna ask you like, I mean, what advice or suggestion you can give us? Oh, I mean, well, to teachers or people who handle English language, like to make good money out of it.
All right. Well, I'm someone who works in sales and marketing, so I should be able to answer your question. Since I've also made a decent amount of money with my book. Decent is I don't really promote it that much, but people do buy it almost every day. Um, so I think being a teacher is one of the most demanding jobs. I don't really have to explain that to you. I think you pretty much already know. But I think the business model of exchanging your time for money is not scalable. It's not something sustainable in time. So my advice would be to start finding what do you think is your differential factor. Like in my case, for example, what I really want people to know is that you can teach yourself. There's a way in which you can teach yourself. And becoming self taught does not have to be hard. That's what I talk about in the book. For you, it could be something different. For you, you could specialize in teaching, I don't know, business or something in particular. I don't know. Like there's like a million other options. But I used to be a teacher. I was a teacher for a long time, but I don't know. I always liked persuasion and deep conversations and writing. I also like writing a lot. So that's why I decided to become a copywriter.
Okay. Well, that gives me like an idea of maybe creating or making a product that could be something like a book,
Could be.
uh, or I don't know if maybe broadcasting something. I don't know, like a podcast or something like that. Because I mean, I don't want to sound greedy or whatever, but I mean, this is what I do for a living, you know? So on the one hand, yes, you have to do what you feel passionate for, but at the same time, I mean, you need the money, you know,
Mhm.
to make a decent to have a decent lifestyle. So well, that already gives me like an idea. Maybe creating a product. That's something that I have had in mind since a while. But how about that? Not that you're talking about books. Uh, how my question would be like a book. I don't know. Books nowadays. Do people still? I mean, do people still buy printed books, or people enjoy more like reading in digital? What about
It's
that product? Isn't it like I don't know. I mean, I love reading,
okay.
but don't you think that maybe for people nowadays it would be kind of old fashioned, or is it still a product that you can sell and you can put it in the market to make good revenues out of it?
What I wanted to say is that you, as someone who is like eager or willing to make a digital product, I think you have to test it first before you even make it.
Okay.
In my case, I did test it with an audience that is not from Latin America. I did test it with Japanese people, 21,000 students to be exact. And for me, I don't know. Like I wanted to make um, something that could potentially be available for everyone on their devices specifically. See, and I think a PDF
Yeah.
is just the right format for that kind of person. Like, by the way, the book is not for everyone. This book that I wrote is specifically for people who already have kind of like an intermediate uh, quote unquote level, and they want to make the jump into advanced territory so that they can increase their income specifically for that purpose. This is not for someone who wants to just learn for fun. And I'm very clear in the landing page in which I host the book. See, but yeah, you basically have to do your own market research before you launch a product.
No.
And this is me not talking as a former teacher. This is me talking as a copywriter.
Yeah. I like that. I want to take it, to the next level. Teaching is my passion. Is what I do. Is what I enjoy. But as I'm telling you, I want like to do something else that helps me like to get more incomes. Um, well, and I have another question that I prepared here. Would
Sure.
be something like maybe an advice or a suggestion. Well, you could be talking as a copywriter, as a businessman, maybe entrepreneur, and at the same time, with your experience as a former teacher. And the question is related to the use of social networks nowadays. I haven't been much into uh, all these platforms, the social networks like
Okay.
Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. I never used it like to work, but nowadays it's all about it, and maybe I can use it as a tool to teach the language, and at the same time to be in contact with many more people.
Okay.
Is something that I also realized after pandemic, that I started having students from all around the world. People from, yeah, South America, yeah, people from Colombia, Argentina, Ecuador, Peru, and I work also with a sports agent. So I teach some athletes, footballers from my country, and I teach people, yeah, living in Ukraine, Turkey, in the US. So that has given me like the idea. I say like, wow, now I can be in contact with people from all around the world, but I haven't given like that next step, to start gaining or getting more clients, students, from different parts of the world. So I don't know if somehow I can summarize like all these ideas, but yeah, more or less my question is about the use of social networks in order to have more students worldwide.
Good. Okay. I'll answer again as a copywriter. Okay, not as a teacher. The thing with social media is that some people think that is the most important thing. You just said like is it's all about it. I don't think it's all about it. It's one piece of the puzzle. But if you're gonna think of a business model and you're willing to put in the time and effort and maybe probably money into making a business model work, you shouldn't rely on social media because it's just like, or at least the way I see it, is just a medium for you to reach the right audience. But it's not the only way. There's many other ways in which you can do that. But it works. It really works. And the cost of entry is very low. Another thing that I would consider if I was in your position would probably be running ads. Running ads also rely on social media, but you don't have to constantly make content for them. See, but at the same time, there could be a cost, an associated cost of your business, and not everyone is willing to take the risk on investing in their own business, at least in the beginning. But something else that I wanted to mention is that
Okay.
making content, especially as a teacher, should not be hard. It should not be hard. I literally just started one day to talk in front of the camera, just like just like I've done many times before in the past, and it comes naturally to me. Like I'm just literally talking to a bunch of texts here. So it's not like I don't feel the pressure because I'm not seeing anyone's face. I'm just literally just talking to myself. Or at least that's how I prepare myself before I
Okay.
do a live. I don't know, teachers do have to be do have to be in front of people. Like your students are your audience. And social media is just one out of many ways in which you can connect with your audience. And it shouldn't be hard for a teacher. I understand that it could be hard for
Okay.
someone
Okay.
like an engineer or someone like I don't know, like a scientist. For them, it must be hard. It must be challenging because they come from an environment in which they have never done it. But if you're a teacher, if you're already familiar with how to handle yourself in front of a group of 30, 40 people, then it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I can speak in front of an audience. I already handled that. I've been a teacher for about been teaching the language for about, I don't know, 15 years or more. And but now the thing is how to move that face to face lesson to the digital form,
Okay.
which I know is like the new way. And well, I have to do like to experiment new things. And now
Right.
that is the digital era, well, I have to do it. I think maybe I can make a last question very shortly, and
Sure.
is precisely about making live. Uh, I don't know what suggestion again can you give me, like if I make a live on TikTok or
Okay.
lives, and if I start making my own lives, I don't know what I yeah, maybe I've been thinking, like maybe can explain something simple, I don't know, use of prepositions and stuff, and maybe a live for an hour or something. uh well, I don't know if you have any recommendation, not regarding content, but
Mhm.
well, it could be about content, but yeah, about how to make lives and how to make them interesting and appealing for a bigger audience.
I think I can give you 186 suggestions. Because every single day that I do lives, I test different things, and even from the beginning of every single live, I explain that to my audience. Like they sometimes I feel that they kind of sense that I'm lost at the beginning of every live, but that's because I'm in the background. They don't see that, but in the background, I'm always testing things. I'm always testing multiple variables. For example, I use multiple VPNs on multiple countries. I use multiple bit rates. Bit rates are they have to do with the way data is transmitted live through video and audio on TikTok. I also test different frames, different qualities. Like sometimes I do 4K. I noticed that whenever I did 4K, I got a lot of complaints. Like the video quality was choppy because the bandwidth that was necessary to transmit in 4K might not be enough for someone who's watching on Wi-Fi. That might not be enough. See, and my recommendations are very simple: have a strong internet cable, like wired, if possible. One, have a big
Good.
text on top of your face, right? Have a clear avatar. An avatar in marketing is someone is the right person that you should be talking to. Identify who is the right audience for you. In my case, hopefully, is people who are interested in business, people who are not so eager to become employees, but people who want to somehow start their own businesses by offering services first. Like that is the that is the easiest kind of business model that you can think of, offering a service in exchange for money. And what other recommendation? Use the PC version of TikTok if possible, and be consistent. I don't have to say that. Like that's super obvious. For the first maybe month or so, you're not going to see anybody here. You're going to see lots of people come into your life and leaving immediately because they don't know who you are. See? And use right lighting, like good lights, I think. I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Mm,
Okay.
pretty
Well,
good.
buddy, thanks a lot. I really, really appreciate all of your recommendations.
All right.
Well, nice. I hope to see you soon again in another live. Thank you.
Absolutely. Maybe next time we can have a debate, not just an interview. But all right. Good. I hope you have a great night and take care as well,
Okay.
okay?
Sure, sure. I will prepare something nice.
All right, pretty good. Take care. Bye.
Sure, dude. Sure.
All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off like that. Okay, let me read some comments. Neomar Pineda says, him is home today, my friend. Good night. Okay. Goodbye. Me am to the home now, to my father, my friend. Oh, okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. So you're probably going home already. Okay. Good. Thank you for stopping by, Neomar. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. I just wanted to say welcome as well to all of the people that are here from the very beginning. We have Jessica Duarte, obviously Nacho Cheese, Wrestling Empire, Bendels, who is going to be the next guest. Julia from Bogota. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope everything is it's fine with you. Diana Peta MMM, Oscar Perez, Marquito JS, Silom, Plum, Edgar Isa, Juan Ebistro, Zach, Rolando, Juan Robles, Daphne, and Eric. Thank you very much for being here. Let's debate about anime. You don't want to debate about anime with me because you're gonna lose. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm more of a manga guy. I appreciate manga more than anime. But yeah, of course, like we can probably have a debate about anime anytime. Yes. And I'll explain why the ending of Kimetsu no Yaiba shouldn't have been like that. But anyway, let me go back to the list. So the list goes like this. We have Ben Dills, then JJ, and then I don't know, someone else. Okay, let's go with Bendels or Bendels. Yellow.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. Best day ever. What is your name?
This is Vendors.
Good. All right. And where are you from?
From the Dominican Republic. That's actually my last name, so that's why I put it like with an L instead of an R. So that's why it sounds like Vandals.
Got it. Okay, so you're Bender, like the guy from Futurama.
Yeah, I've been dealing with that joke my whole life. I sort of got.
And you will until the end of your days.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Oh, but like, how do you feel about your last name? Do you like it? Do you hate it?
I do really like it. It's like German and stuff. So whenever people ask me like, "Hey, where is it from?" I'm just like, "It's German and then English." And I like it, I'm not gonna lie. Even though I've been dealing with that joke for so long, but I don't really care. I do like it.
Okay, good. Good. As long as you like it, that's fine. All right. By the way, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but I just have to ask this question. What is your age? How old are you?
I'm 20. I recently turned 20.
Very good. Excellent. So you have two options. We can start a debate about something you really like, or we can just chill. Like you can just ask me questions or whatever.
Well, to be honest, I joined because I was on my computer, and then I don't know, kind of chilling. I didn't really have anything much to do, and then I was scrolling through TikTok. I saw your live, and I said, okay, let's try to join up. But yeah, we can try to chill. If we can debate about something that I like, that would be probably F1.
Okay, good.
You know about
Good.
F1?
Pick a number from 1 to 10. 1 is super easy, 10 is impossible.
But I mean, I would rather a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. Good. That's a difficulty. All right. And now pick a letter, a random letter, and I'll choose a random topic with that letter.
Oh, um, the letter F, like Frank.
Good. I cannot say the first word that came to my mind with that word, but let's go with France. Let's go with France. Okay.
Friends, all right.
Not friends as people that you like, but France the country.
Oh, yeah, I got him.
Good, very good. So I think the Dominican Republic should have a very tight relationship with a country that formerly enslaved your neighbor. So the first question is very easy. What do you know, or what is your sentiment regarding France? What do you feel about that country?
How do I feel about France? Well, I don't really have a lot to say because, like, yeah, I just like I know it's a country and all that, and like they're in Europe, but I don't really know much about it, or I don't really have like a deep opinion. I'm just like chill about it, kind of an ignorant too.
No, that's fine. That's all right. I'm ignorant in a lot of things as well. All right, that's okay. Right. But who is would you ever like to go to France?
Yeah, probably. I'm not like a big fan, but yeah, I would like it.
Okay. Where would you like to go in France?
There's this like really cool museum. They have like really cool stuff in there, but I don't. I mean, I would like to go there. They have a really cool museum over there, and I think it's actually in Paris. So, and the Eiffel Tower also. That would be a good one.
Okay. The museum is called the Louvre. Um
Oh yeah.
what do you think you will find there?
Um, Probably some historic, really cool stuff.
But you're not interested in history. See? Like you're clearly not, because you just said yourself like when it comes to
um,
France, it's like you're almost like an ignorant when it comes to that. But
um,
but
yeah, actually,
analyze I
but I'm
want you
still
to
amazed.
analyze your answer. Like, if you ever go to France and there's a very cool museum that everybody goes to, would you like to go there to know about the history, or would you like to go there
Yeah,
because lots of people go?
I would like to go there because of the history. Like I'm kind of an ignorant, but at the same time, whenever someone is telling me something about like something that happened during certain period of time, it's cool to know that, and you feel amazed, even
Okay.
though I don't really know about it a lot. I'm still
Mhm.
amazed.
Pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Nice. So, what is something else that you're interested in? You said that you're interested in history. What else?
Science. I do know a lot about science.
Good. Which branch of science?
More of a, I think, theoric, and then because it is like cool facts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, mostly that's it.
Oh, that's okay. Good,
That
good,
would
nice. All right.
would be
Okay. I don't want you to feel like I'm just pushing you around. I'm just generally want to know like what are your interests. Okay, you like science. Um, can you mention? Ooh, let me ask you something. In what branch of science have Dominicans excel at? in the past?
Oh wow. Oh, that was a bad one right there. Because I do not really have an idea. Oh my god, I feel like I'm wow. I'm such a shame. I can look it up if you'd like to.
Sure.
Okay, let me do that. Give me just a second.
Okay.
What do you do for a living, though?
I'm a copywriter.
Oh, I heard that.
Yes. Right.
Um. Uh, okay. Let me see. Come on, ChatGPT.
While you're at it, go ahead and ask it 10 unknown facts about France, and maybe you can also mention one of those as well.
Okay. Let me see then. Okay, so
But again, anyway, what answer did you get about Dominicans' expertise in science?
I'm not really finding a lot. I wasn't really using ChatGPT. I just said like for the joke.
Oh, okay. Got it. I see.
Yeah.
Got it.
But we got Eugene. He was a doesn't even say what he did in here. It seems like he found some bones of a dinosaur or something like that, and then
Good.
it doesn't really say a lot in here.
Good. How do you call the branch of science in charge of that?
Oh well. Wait. Oh my god, I forgot. No, I'm feeling like a shame. Oh, Paleon something.
Paleontology. Yes. Good.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
You got it. All right. Nice. Excellent. Okay. Can you mention, I don't know, 5 other branches of science?
Yeah, I could definitely do that. Well, the one that I'm interested in, it's just astronomy. Most likely, that's the one that I look for all the time. And then the other four, ChatGPT should know them.
Right. Wait, but don't
Wait,
don't
yeah.
ask it. Just mention them.
Let me see. Oh, physics. I do like physics. I was forgetting physics. And then, I think, yeah, I already said astronomy. And we had this really old one, which was like chemistry, but in the past it was like alchemy or something, right?
Alchemy.
Yeah, that one. There you go. Perfect. And it's actually chemistry now on.
Yes. Good.
And you saying biology one of them? Yeah, it's one of them actually.
Fair enough.
I'm sure.
Good. Nice. So you did say astronomy and physics. Like, can you tell us something about physics that most people ignore?
Well, the fact that everything is put in place in a way that, you know, if some parameters would be different, then nothing would exist. For example, I don't know. Do you know this? What do they call it? It's a particle which is called the Guts particle because of how important it is. Basically, it keeps everything in place. Like,
Neutrino.
for example, what was that?
Neutrino. Quark.
Not that one.
Quark.
Not Clark either. It's
No.
they found it like a few years ago. That was like 2016. They call it oh wow, I completely forgot the name. I think I forgot the name because I'm saying it in English. and mostly I'm related to it in Spanish.
Okay. I don't know
But
the
yeah,
name.
basically,
If it has a God's particle label, I don't know it.
yeah, it's kind of like that because basically it keeps everything in place. And when I mean everything, it's literally everything. Because for example, we have the atoms, and then the atoms themselves, they are, put together because of that particle. So basically, it's like making them to stay in place and making them to be, I don't know, not to have more energy than they're supposed to, or less than that they're supposed to. But most likely, that's what it does.
Okay, let's Google it. I know for a fact that it's not electron, is not proton, is not photon.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
see,
pretty.
God's particle name. It is Higgs boson. Okay.
Higgs boson, yeah, that one. That's the one that I was saying.
All right.
So
Do you
basically, it keeps everything in place, most likely.
got it? All right. Good.
That's why it's
Nice.
called God's particle.
Exactly. All right. I see. I see. I see. Got it. All right. Pretty good, man. Anyway, do you have any question for me?
Not really. As I said, I joined just because I was bored, and
Okay.
then yeah, it was nice talking to you.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to come and join us, you're more than welcome. Okay.
Yeah, I'll follow you though.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
I don't know, boy. Yeah,
Hope
take care.
hope you have a great night.
You-
All right. All right. All right. Okay, let's see who else wants to join. By the way, thank you, Israel, for joining us again. I know that you're going to give us some well deserved insights on lots of things. However, there's another guest that was before you, which is JJ. I'm going to go with JJ and then Israel. I can't say that name. Sorry. I cannot put the S and the R next to them like in the same not syllable, in the same sound, in the same word. I can't do that. Nah, I can't do it. I just say it the way people in Barranquilla say it, which is Israel. Israel. Anyway, let's go with JJ, the little plane. All right. All right, let's see. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for the guests to come in. When that happens, there's a very high statistical chance that the person is not even here anymore. So it's still loading. JJ is muted. No, it's loading. It's loading. I'm just checking if he's here in the if he's even in the live. I don't know. I don't see his name. Okay, I'll give it a couple of seconds. Couple of seconds. But in the meantime, let me just read some of the comments. Welcome, Steven. How have you been, my brother? Thank you for the 9,000 likes. Why don't we reach 20,000 likes tonight? I think we can do that, right? I think we can easily do that. All right. By the way, how I feel like I sound like a broken record, but how is the quality of the sound? I would really like you guys to tell me if at some point you guys cannot hear me well, do let me know. Okay. PJ PJ Turreal says skip. All right, good. Yeah. Actually, the platform skipped him automatically because he's not here apparently. So let's go with Israel, and I want you guys to brace yourselves because his English is it's flawless. It's completely native. Okay. All right.
Hey
Yo,
there, you can me.
what is popping? How we doing today?
We're doing pretty good, man. Another day through the grace of God, my brother. What about yourself?
Just best day ever as always. I always say that. You know what? Your voice just right now reminded me of a very good friend of mine who lived his whole life in New York. I know that probably maybe you didn't mention it yesterday, but where in the States did you live in before? Like
well, first, I was born in Mexico, Mexico City,
Boston, I think you said.
and the first years of my life, I spent them here, and then right around the age of 9 years old, I moved to the United States. But I grew up in the south of the United States, to be specific, in the state of Georgia,
Okay.
in northeast Atlanta, and some other parts of my life in rural Georgia. So I had, both the city experience, multicultural experience, as well as the, the rural, redneck, just country culture. And then another part of my life, when I was going to college, I lived in Virginia,
Okay.
which is all of course considered, south of the U.S. But now I've been in Mexico for nearly, going on about 20 years. So it's of course I feel 100%, from my country, and I represent it and I love it. But I cannot, take away the experiences that I had outside of the country, and of course what that meant in terms of language development. Even though I could say that at one point in my life I spoke absolutely zero words of English,
You came
and that I
around.
struggled when I was
Okay.
yeah, I struggled when I was a kid, but we lived in a when we came to the U.S., it was rural, so there were not a lot of, Hispanic, or actually any other minorities for that matter, and so we were able to pick up on the language relatively quick, just out of survival. There was not a lot of teaching in those days. It was more like, hey, you guys want to, get some food, have some friends, you better learn. So, and of
Right.
course, being kids, you just absorb much more. But no, I have a lot of friends, and I actually have a sister that lives in New York.
Mm.
But and I have many good friends that are from New York. But no, my formation was in the south of the U.S. For sure, redneck. 100%.
I see. Got it. By the way, what is your age? How old are? I think I didn't ask you any questions yesterday. Like
Well,
how?
my age, I just turned 42 last
Okay.
April 2nd. So I'm not a young guy, but I'm also not an old man either. I'm in the best moment that most men could be, in terms of, I don't know, income, experience, just better life for sure.
Women.
I'm married, man, happily married for 20 years.
Good.
I definitely see those avenues opening up, but I tell you what, it's costly. It takes your peace of mind. So I stay away from all that, my brother. I didn't for many years, but nothing. I have nothing to show for it and nothing to gain. So yep, no. But yeah,
Just like me
those
as well.
opportunities.
Right.
There you go, buddy. Are you married yourself? I did not know
I
that.
I've been married for 11 years. Well, I'm 35, and I've been together with my wife for 18 years already.
All right, awesome, man. God, that's great, man. Yeah, I tell you, I don't know, man. We're living in times where, committed relationships, marriage, children, they're kind of
Very
frowned
scarce.
upon. But
Right.
I'm of the idea that all of that, is what helps society thrive. I don't have anything against anybody that chooses not to do that, but to put it down as if it's some kind of, like, life deterioration choice. Nah, I'd say, marriage has made me a stronger man, and has given me, many opportunities. Just really, for me, marriage was like my Marine Corps, my military training. It made a man out of me. I could tell you that much
Okay.
for sure.
That's an interesting way to put it. Okay. I see.
No, absolutely. Hey, listen, I tell you, I became fit so I could defend my family.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to fight. I learned how to make more money. Everything that I needed to do to make sure that this family's living good is what I did. I'm not nearly where I'd like to be, but I certainly, made progress in the last 20 years. So that's what it meant for me. But I could understand how it could look challenging from the outside. raising kids, having to make more money. Like I definitely have empathy with somebody that feels that. But my son's gonna have a lot of kids, get married. At least that's what I'm teaching him.
I see. Got it. All right. So, just like I said before, I think yesterday we didn't even jump into any personal details. We just went straight into the conversation. But today, let's take a little bit slowly. What I really do here in this podcast is like pick debate topics randomly, almost completely randomly. But I don't know. Would you like to do that, or is there anything in particular that you want to talk about?
Well, something that was from the conversation we had. And first of all, man, once again, I really appreciate the opportunity you open up. As I said yesterday, and of course, not to fall on redundancy, but the simple fact that I think these are like positive conversations. Conversations that lift up different topics, even if they may be controversial.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to open up that possibility, even for aspiring English learners. I think it could be encouraging just to know that I'm assuming the majority of the audience could be Hispanic, but I'm pretty sure there could be from other nationalities. Either way, we're kind of a band of brothers and sisters when it comes to the challenge of learning a language. And I never spoke like this in the past. I didn't always speak like this in the past. So I did want to take a time, man, to continue to thank you for that. But yesterday, as we were in the topic of tariffs, something that I was thinking about, if I had a chance again, it was there are things that we can analyze, but there are also things that we can do for ourselves. Because an excess of analysis leads to paralysis
Yeah.
typically, and
Exactly.
so for me, a topic that I think has always been near and dear to me is entrepreneurship. Whether it be small business ventures, bigger ones, whether it's people that are on the fence, the challenges of getting something started. I think there's so much opportunity, in developing countries such as ours. Um, and I just think that a lot of the times our people haven't really come to a position where they choose to do that. I'm not saying all of them, but I'm certainly aware that the numbers don't speak, or at least they don't give that sense that more and more people are choosing that lifestyle. So that's
Exactly.
something that's very dear, near and dear to me. And I'm pretty sure you have some interesting ideas about that, and I'm open to an exchange about that.
The main idea that I want everyone listening to this yapping session is that, yeah, it is possible to stop being an employee and just start thinking about the possibility of starting your own business. And the easiest way that I found for me to do that was to offer my services independently and then just moving on to something else, like scaling and things. But I'm not even the best business person in the world. I recognize that, but at least I'm independent. I've never relied on a job or interviews, and I think I said this before tonight in this live. For the last since 2016, how long ago was that? 9 years. 9 years. In the last 9 years, I have not applied for any jobs, and most likely I never will. See, and that's what I want everyone to like get through their heads in this life. If there's anything you're gonna learn from me, it's got to be that. Fun fact: I actually started talking about copywriting here in this community. Like one of the first lives I ever did were all about copywriting, and nobody knew what it was. Like nobody seemed to be interested in it. But people started to ask me questions like, "Hey, how do your English get so quote unquote good?" And all of that stuff. And that's when I decided to make a change in my audience. Like my audience was meant to be for copywriters, but now it's pretty much anyone who wants to like improve their English, hopefully with the intention of having their own business in the future. I didn't ask you
That's
yesterday,
awesome, man.
what do you do for a living?
I actually, of all things, I'm an executive language trainer for multinationals, military, banking, finance, every industry you could imagine. I've been doing that for the last 20 years. I did that formally from a B2B standpoint, business to business standpoint, here in Mexico. Uh, for about 15 years. And since the pandemic, I had to open up the services to the general public. And yeah, man, my focus is very professionally oriented, towards people that they're not necessarily on the journey to learn the language from scratch. They're more on the journey to perfection it,
Yeah.
given the roles that they have, the level that they have reached, but of course, with the language still being a hurdle for them. So yeah, man, that's what I do. That's what I've been doing, and of course, I ventured into other things over the course of that. But my background has been within the language teaching framework, and of course, not just English, French. There's a point in time before the pandemic where we had a company that was dedicated to that, but of course, all in the sector of all in the private sector, even government in occasions. So yeah, man, that's what I do. And speaking of that, maybe to a friendly contrast to what you were saying, I do believe that there are some jobs that are legitimately great jobs that people could have. I mean, if somebody gets a job at Facebook, as a software engineer or whatever position, in a great bank or JP Morgan or something like that, I would be of the idea of great. That is a great opportunity. The kind of clients that I work with over the course of time, however, they become quite exasperated by the lack of time that produces, even though it does give them a certain financial
Stability,
peace
security.
of mind.
Right.
Right. For all of them, for the greatest majority, there comes a time where they see some of the realities of the corporate ladder, and then they just venture out into other things. But so I think having a job could be a great thing. I just think that all of us should have the knowledge from wherever we are, because I know I work with a particular clientele, but this could apply even for the younger guy that may not have had a chance to go to college, maybe not even a high school diploma. I mean, I think that all of us in our own level, within our own circle of influence, we have possibilities to branch out into other things. I'll just give you a simple example. I come from a family of, first of all, in the U.S., migrant workers, nothing fancy, just humble people, construction workers, office clean. I don't come from a fancy background. Neither do I consider myself to be in that category. I'm just a simple guy, just like anybody else. Um, but at the same time, I've had an opportunity to be with other people. But now that I'm here in Mexico, my brother-in-law, they're people that had a very, very, very rough life, and college and all those things were kind of out of the picture for them, because in his particular case, he had 3 kids before he was even, I don't know, 25 years old. And in Mexico, it's just rough. Not the end of the world, but certainly rough. And after years and years of trying different things and doing different things, he started to sell tennis shoes. In Mexico, we call them tianguis. These are like the local street markets. Um, so this is all informal work, but you would be utterly amazed. I think the average person anywhere in the world would be amazed at the income that this guy has today. Now, I don't want to like go like that he was nothing and he became some. No, it's years of work and years of sacrifice and many things. This guy's in 4 or 5 different markets throughout the week, all in the metropolitan Mexico City area. And I could tell you for sure, he's making more than a doctor. He's making more than an architect. He's maybe doing better than one of the guys that I was mentioning at Facebook or Google. He's a simple guy that did not finish middle school. He just learned that, and I'm not promoting piracy, man, but that's just the business model. And the Chinese bring products into our country. Somebody's going to sell them. And hey, if somebody's going to do it, could be him. So he did it. And he sells that, and and he's doing really well. He bought land. He just did all kind of things. So I mean entrepreneurship from the standpoint of the guy that may not even have, like any kind of professional background, to the guy that was like me, that, I had a little bit of a background, I had the language skills, um
Like
and
us,
if I
because
could
I
say,
also come from that field.
there you
Like,
go, there you go. No,
mhm.
and if I could say anything to that individual that's working on their English, that has that approach, my biggest thing for anybody is networking, man. I tell you, when I was 22 years old and I became a dad, there was a group of people that I knew, limited group of people that I knew, and I know that my financial reflection was directly tied to the group of people that I knew.
Yeah.
Some of them are people that I love. Some of them are great people. Some of them are family members. People of my church. But unfortunately, I didn't have any vision of how to do anything. And as the years passed by, and I was able to position myself in a lot of risky situations from a business standpoint, a lot of things that I had no place really doing, as I was able to position myself in
Sounds
that,
familiar.
like yeah, local business chambers, local, networking groups, different things. As I was able to do that more and more, and I was a teacher back then. So as I embarked in more teaching, I didn't know it at the time, but that meant that I would be exposed to a greater amount of people, that a simple teacher did not have necessarily any business meeting. When I was 23, 24, I'm sitting here teaching a CEO of a
Hmm.
multinational company. There's no way that we would have had any connection except for the fact that I was his teacher. Some of those guys became mentors, some of those guys became references, some of those guys moved on in life to other things, and guess who they called whenever they, of course, that implies not just the network, but doing your job like you have a gun pointed at your head, and success depends on you breathing for the next 5 seconds. That, of course, that implies a lot of hard work,
Right.
strategic hard work. But so for me, when I think of entrepreneurship, I think that a great work ethic and a strategy, even if it's a small one, to have and to see that we're always in a position to network. I think that could lead all of us to better networking. Sorry, to better entrepreneurship opportunities, and that goes for the person that, like I said, like my brother-in-law that sells shoes in a local market, tennis shoes at a local market, to the guy that's on his way up, even to somebody that's already in a profession. At the end of the day, networking is important. So I don't know, brother. What do you think? What would you add to that? I know you have an experience yourself, and I know my experience and my vision is limited, and I look forward to hearing what you would add to that.
I think there's got to be a better way of expanding your network, and which is exactly what I'm trying to do here with these TikTok account and with other platforms that I'm also constantly posting on. I think the process of acquiring these kind of connections, yeah, it's better if it's organic. It's better if it's like genuine. If there's a real, almost face-to-face connection with someone. But I think you can also create a system in which you can just turn the people that connect with your brand into potential leads for the future. They don't have to be leads forever. They don't have to even like engage in your business, but it's always good. It's always a great idea to know someone in multiple different kinds of spaces. So that's another part of the reason why I'm doing these lives, like to expand my my circle in a way. And it just so happened that I just found you as well, so I'm very grateful for this platform as well, because otherwise we wouldn't have ever the chance to engage in a conversation. Like, see, like that's
Well,
the beauty of it.
you know what I think also? I think and I would just compliment the point about when somebody is a lead. Oftentimes, I found that depending on the position that we have, or if we can leverage or not a position, I've also found that just a genuine desire, like every service, every product is going to solve something, but when it comes to service, I think it's like just to have that genuine intention to want to
To
help people,
serve.
and I think,
Yeah,
for
exactly.
example, like what you're doing here, I think like when the the exchange of ideas ultimately leads to, hey, listen, I want to help. I think people have a very, very fine, smell for that. I think they can detect when somebody's just either after their money or someone is genuinely trying to add and give value. So, I had people that I put myself at their service many times, either for a very low price, and when I taught like I taught like professional athletes in some occasions, even for free, because I needed the leverage of who they are and their influence. And I knew that if they sponsored me, I knew that, and if I did my job well, I knew that the what I could stand to gain from my perspective was very, 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 important, not greater than what they would stand to gain, because they were going to learn something as well. But what I'm saying is that the exchange would be of mutual benefit,
Yeah,
according
exactly.
to our own
It will
circumstances.
be
So
fruitful
I
for
think,
for both parties. Exactly.
right, right, right. And the reason why I say that also is because I think, oftentimes, as we navigate, and of course we need money, we need resources, we may not see that, if we put our service, our products or whatever at the service of individuals that have highly leveraging positions, that could put us in conversations that we wouldn't be in. I think it becomes a very, very, very interesting conversation that we can have. And so for me, it's like, during the pandemic, I lost several, contracts that I have. Well, I actually, all the contracts that I had with other companies providing our service, but I was able to stay afloat. And one of the things that I did is I went on Instagram and I follow wrestling in Mexico. I'm a big fan of Mexican wrestling. For everybody, lucha libre, is it. And I know the wrestlers very well. And I thought these guys have the potential to go to the US, to WWE. And I just, I started contacting an endless amount of wrestlers. And I say, hey man, I know your story. I know exactly who you are. Hey, let me give you classes. I won't charge you anything. But if you learn, you got to shout me out, and you got to give me promotion. And I did that, I'd say hundreds of times, until one guy answered. And we were able to do some interesting things through that venture. And I was already in my late 30s, mid 30s, where maybe I could have felt like I don't have to do this, man. But it was the pandemic. All of us needed to do something
Something, right?
innovative to stay afloat, And so, I was able to do many things just through that connection. But I had to look for it. It didn't come to me. And I'm doing it now with some UFC athletes. This is the first time in history, man, that we have direct access to people. Like, now, are they going to answer? I don't know, but I know I can get in their inbox. I know that for a fact. And
Exactly.
and I'm not going to get in their inbox by asking for something. I'm going to get in their inbox,
By
and
giving
they might
something.
consider reading my message by offering something, right?
Right.
And then, depending on what I offer, we might be able to have an exchange later on. But I just think that a lot of we don't realize, man, how close we are to opportunity, and I just, I show this to my kids. I want to make sure that they are aware of the time that their father was living, and certainly that they could probably replicate it much better in the future. So, just expanding a little bit on that network part, and you yourself speaking about leads, as I said, just a small compliment to a great idea, which is, having a genuine desire to really actually help people. People are going to smell that. If
Yep.
they know you're only after their money, they're like, you know what, I could find a million guys like that. But if they know that you're genuinely there to help, offer value, and depending on your position, if you have to, negotiate where you got to offer something, not necessarily for free, because you could get something out of the deal. We're in a time where that's very, very highly likely. And yeah, man, I've done that. So I hope anybody that's listening, mostly I hope they're encouraged, because you know what? nobody told me any of this. I had to figure it out on my own, you know.
Right.
So I hope that anybody that's listening to this is encouraged because, you know, I lived it, you know. And so yeah, man, what do you think, buddy?
In a way, that is exactly the message that I'm trying to convey to these people, to everyone watching this live. Like, and I think I said this almost on every live. There is no better opportunity right now in the world, in human history for that matter, to make a business that is service based. So that's what I'm trying to encourage people to be good at a service that you obviously resonate with, something that you like get experience or offer your services for free at first, gain some traction, some recognition, some reviews, and then you have a business. Like, you can start reaching out to other potential people that will be willing to buy your service. That's the main message behind this. Like, I try not to complicate business for my audience, because that's what I've been doing like for the last 4 years. It's very simple.
Well,
Very simple strategy.
Let me ask you a question. If you had to talk to, you know, a kid that's listening to this,
Uh-huh.
you know, that's 15, 16, 17 years old, and, you know, because I'm assuming that could potentially be part of your audience. And I think there's nothing greater also than investing in people that are going to have, you know, a shot at a better life than maybe those that, of course, we want them to do well, but just it's a little bit harder when you don't have as much time, when you have financial commitments. But if you could talk to the young, you know, 15, 16, 17-year-old that's, you know, probably, you know, learning the language, you know, or even as hardcore as a guy that might have gotten deported and he's now in his country and all he has is a little bit of English, maybe he's not a master of it. If you could talk to a guy just basically like, and you might have done this in the past, I do not know, brother, and if you have, I don't mean for you to be repetitive, but if you had to talk to that guy that's going to take his first baby steps, you know, they may not even have an idea how to offer a service, they may not know anything about, you know, copywriting or anything like that. Like, what would you say to an individual like that?
I think the biggest lever that you can pull is yourself. If you invest in yourself, of course, that's like obvious. But something very specific that I would point out is build the habit of documenting your failures, your thoughts, your processes,
Cool.
and that's gonna blow you away. It's gonna mean like day and night when in terms of the process that you're gonna make at almost anything in life. That's why I got enough confidence to call myself a copywriter, because I started by sorry, literally documenting my process, my thought process specifically. And that, because of that small habit, I developed the idea to write the book. See, like the book that you guys see here. Well,
Yeah.
you barely see it, but anyway, for those of you who do know me, you know that I wrote a book in like 9 months. It took me like 9 months to write it, but if I didn't have the habit of documenting my process, that would have taken me like forever. I would probably still be writing it, or maybe I wouldn't even start. I wouldn't have even started to write it in the first place. So I think the biggest lever that you can pull is start writing your thoughts. I think that's like for me what changed. The only habit, not the only one, but the habit that gave me the most leverage for my time. Yes, I think that's the one.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You know, and also maybe, and I think that's great. You know, because I think you're able to, you know, the greatest knowledge is of self, and of course, I'm a Christian man, so I also believe in God. You know, but I think, you know, if I could give also anybody any tip, I think
Please
as
do.
as strange or weird as it may seem, I would say that, you know, physical exercise for me was a big game changer, man, because I
Right.
think whenever you can like or some kind of physical discipline, you know, because I think whenever you can, you know, maintain yourself fit, do exercise even when you don't want to, and
Yeah.
like to see the effect that has on your body. You know, I've observed, at least from the people that I was able to either read about or look on, aspire to be. Um, I think exercise could be a great thing. Now, of course, we don't want somebody to become a gym rat that all they do is just exercise and nothing else. That's a bit of an extreme. But I think for me that made a big difference, man, because you know I have a saying, and it is highly likely if somebody can keep physical discipline for a prolonged period of time, they're more likely going to have the mental fortitude to know what to do and look to overcome adversity.
Push through, yes.
I have an 11-year-old son, and he goes to MMA practice every single day, and that is not a debate. That is not a choice. That is something that he must do every single day. I might give him a day off every now and then, but I was just telling him yesterday. I said, son, I said, I know you don't want to go any day, and especially you don't want to go on Wednesday because it's sparring day. And I know you're young, you're the youngest in the gym, and I know you're gonna get you're behind, handed to you. But that's all right because as you get older, no, the hits of life are not gonna surprise you, just like the hits of from physical body to physical body are not gonna surprise you. So I think and I don't want to be so exclusive with physical activity, but I would say anything that makes you engage in the development of character or dealing with adversity or putting ourselves in positions like that, I think that, because let me tell you, man, to be an entrepreneur, I know what it's like to have 7 or 8 or now 20 leads meetings during the week with corporations, and I know the feeling of every single one of them saying no to the service. And if you are not a person
If
that
you can
has the
handle
mental
that,
fortitude,
you're not a business.
yeah, if you can, you're gonna say, "Oh, it's not for me." But if you can handle, 100 times that happening, and at the 101st time, when you close that deal, you're gonna say to yourself, I could have quit. I would have quit, but I decided not to. And so I would say that putting ourselves in position and or recognizing, those positions that we're in that are building our character. I didn't feel that being broke represented that for me, but I was broke for many years, man. And and now that's all I talk about. I'm like, yeah, I remember when I was broke because that's what built my character. So I think a lot of the times we're not appreciative of those things that are building our character because we just want to escape them.
Yeah,
But deep down, they may be doing a whole lot more, in our mind and our spirit and our soul than we actually, give the credit to. So I don't know, man. Do you work out yourself?
I do. But I wanted to say that one of the things that people always ask me is like, how did you start building your English, whatever, your English skill? And I always say that I did my best to memorize, or at least try to memorize, the dictionary. And that is something that I don't recommend anyone to do, okay? But I just pull through, and if I didn't have like the mental capacity to have done it, probably I wouldn't even have this conversation with you here. But what I wanted to say is that, oh, by the way, they always ask me like, but hey, man, how do you find the motivation to do that? Like, and I always say that I did it for 6 months, and it's true. I almost memorized the complete dictionary in a period of like 5 to 6 months. And I always say, like, look, it was not motivation. Motivation was not part of the equation. What I did was have a sense of discipline that was probably like programmed by my parents from an early age. And yes, to answer your question, I do exercise. Matter of fact, I lost around 30 kilograms after the pandemic. Through sheer weightlifting, and weightlifting at home, mind you. Like, I gained so much weight. I was 110 kilograms, and now I'm I haven't weighted myself in a while, but I think I'm between 75 and 80, more or less, give or take. But
There
yes,
you go, man.
exercise, just like you said, is absolutely pivotal. It's paramount to build not only your physical strength, but I think even more to a higher extent your mental strength.
Right,
So, yeah.
right. I agree with you. I agree with you there, man. I think, and I appreciate that. I think it's cool that practical advice. It reminded me, Malcolm X memorized or he worked on memorizing the dictionary when he was in jail,
He did.
and I
I didn't know that.
yeah, he did, and he was a well spoken guy, and I think if I remember correctly, and I hope I'm not misrepresenting, but I believe Mike Tyson might have mentioned something about that. For as much of a violent as Mike Tyson was,
Totally
when he
unexpected.
spoke, yeah, but when he's, if you ever pay attention to any of his serious conversations, for as much as a violent guy as he was a well spoken guy. Whenever you listen to him carefully, whenever you listen to him speak in his younger days, he definitely conveyed that message. So yeah, even things like that, like when I listen to you, man, and I listen to the way that you talk. Like I remember when I was younger, like I would always, read the Harvard Business Review, the MIT Sloan, Newsweek, Bloomberg. I would always do that, and I don't come from a family or background where that was promoted. But it's these disciplines that are in line or in tune with where we want to be in life. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I know that I didn't want to work construction for the rest of my life because that shit is hard, buddy. I was like, hey, listen, this is great. It's an honest living, and all respect to people that do it. But I knew that I didn't want to do it because I was like, hey, if I want to be lifting something, I want to be doing it at the gym, not in a hot, sunny day where I'm out there, dying. But what I mean to say by this is that we we put ourselves in positions where we take on the disciplines that are somewhat a reflection of where we want to be. And whenever I was in a position to work, with executives, I remember I'll never forget. I was about 25 years old, and I was working with the executive team of a very well-known company, multinational company. And I walked in the office, and the guy said, "Hey, I have a master's degree. I am this guy. I'm this guy. I'm that." He says, and he told me, he said, "No disrespect, but what are you going to teach me?" And in my mind, I said, "All right." I said, "Well, why don't you give me, this hour and a half that we'll be working together, and if by the end of the session you feel that I have nothing to offer you, then we can call it a day." Well, here's how I'll summarize it. I just massacred the class when it came to the highest proficient level that guy had ever heard in his entire life. I went, super business, and I damn near went Shakespeare on him. And at the end of the class, he said, "I believe you have a lot to offer," and but if I hadn't been in the discipline of reading and just trusting in my vision, because I even had family members that said like, "Hey, what are you doing, man? Like, that's for other that's not for us." And I even understood like I had to take my ears away from them because
Yeah,
as much as they love us, sometimes they don't understand what we're trying to do.
exactly.
So yeah, I was able to do that, man, through the grace of God, and that's why that's the value that I'd like to leave your audience, man, if you allow me. Just get into the discipline. A lot of the advice, of course, that you give, very valuable advice, practical advice, and I think we're in the same line when it comes to that, man. But speaking of work, I got to get back to. I got a client. I got to work with, man. I really appreciate it, buddy. As always, man.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure to
It's
talk to
always a
you.
pleasure, man.
All right, look, somebody in the comments is telling you or asking you or recommended you to start making content yourself. I haven't seen your account. Do you make content?
I
Probably
do.
not.
I did make content.
Okay.
I haven't made content in several years, but I actually have a season of podcasts.
Good.
And I don't necessarily want to promote it now here because this is your space, my brother. So
Go
I want to be very
on.
respectful of it.
Go on.
But I'm gonna be having a podcast called Mexico to the World because I work with so many professionals in our country, and the vision of Mexico is so deteriorated. Everybody thinks we're drug dealers and killers and all these other very negative things.
We gotta change
I
that.
have a total I got a totally different vision of our country. So because I work with these individuals, these professionals, and it's going to be called Mexico to the World, MTW. Everything is already set and in line. We're just editing it a little bit because I use a lot of profanity, and I didn't realize that I was being so genuine. So I was like, well, I don't know, I got to tone it down for the first
Okay.
episode. But if you allow it, brother, of course, with all due respect to your space, and when the time comes, certainly we can share that content. And by the way, there is some content in my channel, but it's a few years old. But if somebody can take advantage of that and find some value, then they're welcome to look at it, of course.
Absolutely, yes. I'm actually here. One of the other things I do here is promoting other people's accounts. That's what I do as well.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome. That's awesome. But and of course, and I didn't come here with that intention. But if that is a possibility, I appreciate it, man. That's awesome, man. Keep up the hard work, man. Such a cool, positive space, man. And keep doing your thing, man. Yeah.
thank you very much, man. As always, a pleasure to have you here. Hope you have a great night and take care for now, okay?
Likewise, man. Rock and roll, buddy. God bless, man. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye for now. Pretty good. Okay. Wow, I didn't really wanted to wear these things for so long. But that was a damn interesting conversation. What do you guys think? Very cool dude, Israel. I can even say his name properly. Israel. I would say Israel always because I don't know, I don't think I have a like an issue with saying that sound, but it's always been challenging for me. Okay, but let me read some comments. Let me see, what do we have here? Thank you, Steven Edgar, for all of these nice comments. Kervi, let's see who else. Emiliano Victor, thank you for all of those comments as well. Thank you for all the new followers we just got. All right, pretty good. Thank you very much. All right, my dog just came in. Well, I am honestly going to go right now. Please do not forget to go to the link in my bio. I think I haven't said this today. Go to the link in my bio and please, please, please take a look at this. Hold on, let me just show you very quick. Take a look at this button right here down below here. If you click there, you're going to find a very nice surprise. Obviously, I can't say what it is because the platform doesn't allow me to just do that. But please go ahead and do yourself a favor and enjoy all the content that I have posted there. Okay, I try my best to post daily. Sometimes it's hard, but there's a lot of different conversations from the past that I just posted there. With that said, I hope you have a great night and take care. Thank you, Jessit, for all of those comments. All right, you guys take care. Bye for now.